Welcome to the Fabulous 50s and Beyond. I'm Jim Pollard, my co-host with my wife Janetta. We're going to be talking today about barbecue on the river, Market Square mornings, and just whatever you want to talk about when we talk about Paducah. We have as our guest today Paducah City Commissioner Kara Gault, and she's going to update us on what's going on. So you stay tuned and we'll be right back.
And he'd say, go with what you got. Start from where you are. Give it your best shot. Keep reaching for that star. Get in the race. Keep your own pace. Keep moving and never stop. Just go. Go with what you got.
Welcome back. Our guest today is Kara Gault. Carol is, I guess you'd say, the newest city commissioner?
I am.
That's what I thought.
It's my first term.
Yeah, and we're glad to have you on our show today. She's pretty knowledgeable about what's going on around town, and there's a lot, that's the one thing about Paducah. Would we call Paducah a mid-sized town or a small town?
I would say that we have a lot going on, so we're a mid-sized town.
Yeah, that's what I'd say, and that was one thing that impressed us about it. Of course, Paducah was her home, and that's the reason we came back here. But there's a lot that goes on, and especially downtown, which I think is a very interesting drawing card for the public, and they need to know what's going on, which is part of what we do at our show. Big thing is barbecue on the river.
That's right. It'll be here before you know it, the 23rd, 24th, and 25th of September.
Now, they got a lot of new things going on this year, don't they?
We do have some new things, but we also have the old things, and we try to keep in mind that it's there for charities. $400,000 go towards charities, and we'll serve 60 tons of meat, believe it or not, and there'll be 75 teams that'll be there. So we'll, but of course there's pork stock that goes on Wednesday night, which is a new thing that
What
you may.
What is that? I hear a lot about pork stock, but what is it?
Well, it's a new event that was started last year in an effort to raise funds for the festival itself. And that's something that we started on Wednesday night, actually, as a kickoff event to help raise money for the event itself, because as you all know, costs increase.
Yes.
And so to keep costs down for the participants, because the goal is to raise money for charity, we thought it just would be fun to have a kickoff event. And so there are tickets, and you can purchase tables, and you can do all that by calling David Boggs, who is the festival coordinator. Of course, Susie Corner and I help, but really David is the one that's laying on his shoulders this year. So,
Well, barbecue on the river has come a long way. Because I remember the first year we went, there was no barbecue on Friday.
Yeah, I remember I was going to say we went down there on Friday night to get barbecue. There was no barbecue for sale on Friday night.
So it's come a long way.
right now, and now on Thursday morning, you can come around 11 o'clock, and you can get all the barbecue you want on Thursday, and all day on Friday and Saturdays as well. And one thing I want to mention before I forget are the shuttles. This year we'll have that shuttle service again, and it'll be a great thing. You can park at Carson Park, and then just pick up the shuttle service, and we'll bring you right in and drop you off right at the barbecue. So it'll save a lot of walking and a lot of hassle with parking.
Yeah.
And that'll start on Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock.
Well, that's good, because that's important. It helps a lot of people, when you've got a shuttle service.
Because it's a pain in the neck to try to find a parking place.
Well, we have a lot of people that come, which is the goal.
That's right.
Is this the largest nonprofit fundraising event around?
That I know of. That was Susie's goal when she started out. That was her goal when she started out. Susie Corner has been with the festival since its inception. And as to my knowledge, it is. Around in this area,
Yeah,
yes.
other than the telethon, I guess,
Right.
It sounds like it's the largest other than maybe the telethon. And of course, I think the telethon started doing 600,000-700,000 now,
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But it's huge, and that's especially for a one night, like 16-hour event. That's huge, But this is huge. The thing about this is an attractor that brings people into town. I mean, I guess they come here from everywhere, don't they?
They do. They do. Florida, California, Michigan. It's amazing when you start talking to people.
It
And then
is.
those people come in and help their families cook to raise money, and they come and help their friends cook. And it has a real social aspect to it.
Yeah.
And there's so much money spent in our community for teams purchasing subsidiary items, if you will. And I think that's something that was the economic impact that we really didn't. I certainly didn't understand until I became involved with barbecue, but there's a lot of money that turns over in the community that weekend.
Yeah, we kind of knew something of that because we were involved with the Broward County Fair for 17 years. And the amount of money that turns,
That's right.
I mean, because, you set up, well, one of the soda companies does all the sodas and the meat company does all the meat, and all of a sudden you're in huge dollars that turnover as a result of the food that's changing hands. And we watched that little Broward County Fair grow from what we call the Dust Bowl next to the junior college of a few thousand up to where they would do over 400,000 attending in the fair,
That's exactly right. And people buying paper products to serve their food, and then just booth decorations.
Yep.
The amount of flowers and mums and things that are purchased,
Right.
pumpkins that are purchased, those
Right.
are things that early on I never took into consideration until I became more intimately involved. And
I guess that's the
amazing.
reason that you see different governments making concessions to get big factories and things in because of all the conciliatory and support stuff that goes on with them also.
that's true. That's
Yeah.
very true.
Yeah. So, but this is which barbecue on the river?
The 16th ever.
16.
I think this is the 16th year, I believe.
Are they?
That,
Go ahead.
does it get, excuse me, does it get bigger every year?
It does. In some aspects, it does, because the charities will add something new, or there'll be something like pork stock, for instance, was added new last year. There's always a different twist or a different turn, it seems like. Now, it's about the same amount of vendors because there's only so much land
Space.
I was gonna
space.
say
Right.
you run out of space that
Yeah,
way.
there's only so much land space, but there are new things that are always added, something to keep it fresh, and which makes it exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we've been Carney people for years, and so that's something I said. Our kids were, when we were involved with Broward County Fair, I was the chaplain for Broward County Fair, and we had a booth where we gave away ice water and gospel tracts, and having a run of the fair as a result of helping them start it, working with the promoters and the stars of the fair. There were big name entertainment that would come in. And our kids, Valerie and our son, would be the only two allowed on stage while they were performing,
Right.
And so they've been around this for a long time, and it's always good.
But
Go ahead.
this was, this fair went on through Thanksgiving, and every one of our Thanksgivings for years was at the fair.
Wow.
We
Yeah.
either, somebody would bring us a plate or something, or we'd just eat fair food, but that was what it was like for
It was.
years and years.
17 years we were at the Broward County Fair, and it was a fun thing. It was a ministry, but we did a lot of good. I said, had at that time James Strait Midways, which is one of the largest in the United States, and Jimmy would come over. I'd go counsel his Carney people and different things, and we had church in the big tent on
Right.
Sunday morning.
Right.
In the big tent. So it was just it was quite a thing that we probably had Cowboy Church before they even thought about it, having it up here, But it was a great thing. But they will have the booths, with the different things other than barbecue, right? Like they've had in the past.
Sure. They'll have all, the hot fudge
All
cake
kind.
and all kinds of things. And of course, Four Rivers Church is always there at the end, and provides a
Right.
family tent
Right.
for people to go eat, and videos in the past for children to have a place to go and sit and relax, and families to get together and fellowship as well. I mean, there's somewhat of that aspect associated with barbecue on the river as well. So
Well, I
yes,
guess-
all those other things will
Yeah.
be there. Old Market Days will be there as well. Paducah Renaissance Alliance will be taking care of that. And I don't know the number of vendors that they have, but I know that they're sold out, as I understand. So sure, yes.
Well, I guess I waited to. I thought I do a internet radio show every Saturday morning, and it's worldwide. And I thought about doing my show from BBQ on the River. Because we've actually had kids call in from Switzerland, from Ireland, from all over the world. And we talk about BBQ on the River. We've talked about it for the last 2 years on our show. And, we talk about Paducah and everything like that. But it's a big card and a big attractor, and a lot is going on there. Big question. Do you have to have gone to the judging school to be a judge this year?
Well, judging school was a new thing for us. Several of us went down and went through the judging school in Memphis. Some of us have been through the Kansas City judging school as well. So to actually have already gone through, there have been 2 previous, and there will be next year offered as well. To be a judge, no, you don't have to have gone through that school. I think all the judges' places are filled for this year. I do think that they have already filled all those because it's just right around the corner, and
Right.
they try to get those lined up early on. However, there will be those offered again next year. There'll be those judging classes offered again. And so watch for those in the paper and the local media, because we would encourage as many people to participate in that and
All right,
try
if
to
you
get
finish
school for
the
that.
judging school here, are you like certified to go to Memphis or Kansas City or somewhere else? Each one has their own.
Well, because this one isn't a sanctioned
School?
Memphis in May or Kansas City barbecue school, they do each one have their own. There are different circuits, if you will, and they compete for points and that kind of thing. And because this one sells food and sells for charity, it's not one of those sanctioned events. Some of the others don't necessarily sell food and
They
sell
just
for.
have a contest.
That's correct. That's correct. And that's what makes this one different. And so that's why this judging school was set apart and really isn't part of those others. It's because of the charitable aspect. And early on, I think that Susie and some of the others that were involved, Roe maybe, made that application and were turned down originally, and in part because it was a charitable event. They just have a contest, and when they start selling to the public, the rules change a little bit. So it's kind of funny looking back on it to see how this one has grown and how it's changed over the years. But that was 16 years ago. And
Well,
it's
I
really
like-
worked for Paducah.
I think
so.
the way they're doing it is great,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Paducah has come a long way. I mean, the lower town and fixing up downtown. I mean, it's just really phenomenal. And cities come to look at us, don't they?
They
To see-
certainly do.
To
They
see
certainly
what we're
do.
doing and what we've done, and
Well,
it's great.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Speaking of downtown, what about Market Square mornings?
Well, since I haven't been downtown and working in that Main Street capacity,
Right.
as you all know, it's now something else called Paducah Renaissance Alliance. I'm not as involved, but I do know a little bit about Market Square mornings because Michael Cochran and Jeff Spicer, I think, have headed that up, and they came and made a presentation to the commission and told us about that. And I think that kicks off on September the 11th. And will run through the
23rd of
October. I was
October.
going to say the 23rd of October. I started to say the end, but I didn't think they were doing it
Yeah.
all the way to the end. And I think that they're going to have vendors and art a la carte. Artists are going to be down there, and all kinds of
music.
things happening around that Market Square area. And they're encouraging people to come from, I believe, 9 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon. So
I have a feeling the reason they decided not to do the last Saturday is that's Halloween, I'm betting.
I think it is October 30th. I think you're exactly right. I think so.
I don't think I'd want to have one down there on the Halloween either, go
But
ahead.
it sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, I think
They're
anytime.
talking about having live music and everybody selling different things, and I think it'll be interesting.
Anytime volunteers and stakeholders in the community step up to the plate and organize things like that, it usually does extremely well. Again, that's how so many things, and Downtown After Dinner started, and barbecue started, Summer Festival. We've had so many things. This community is really good about people stepping up and taking the reins. So I think it'll be a great thing.
Good. All right, we're going to take a break here, and then when we come back, we'll talk some more about city government and some of the things going on downtown and some things not going on, like we'd like to say. It's easy to criticize sometimes, but there's a lot going on, and that's what I like to emphasize. So you stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
We didn't have much to give then, So when they showed up, firing them mean looks around the place and staring us down on prices, well, I was angry. Didn't seem to bother my father, though. He had me load another bushel of apples in their trunk. I learned later on that this family was in need.
The greatest gift we give, it's in our heart, what we believe, the way we live.
Caring for others. Pass it on.
Welcome back. Our guest today is Carol Gault, City Commissioner for the City of Paducah. And we are going to be talking about, or we have been talking about, barbecue on the river. We've been talking about Market Square mornings, a lot of things going on like that. You know, there's just an abundance of things that are happening in Paducah, especially at this time of year. The fall and summer, there are a lot going on. You know, they call it Downtown After Dinner. Are we going to change that name next year?
I think actually it's already been changed.
Is it, they're
It
just
kind of
using that
changed
this year?
mid-year.
And I understand the changing, because you do want them to have dinner and stay downtown rather than come down after dinner.
That's
you know.
right.
And I understand that, so I think that's good. And I think a lot of the people do come down and eat. But let me tell you, if everybody that came downtown went to eat, the restaurants couldn't handle them, could they?
You're right. And we just encourage people to come down there and enjoy what is there to offer. There are so many great restaurants and stores, and there are great businesses down there that offer so many services. And a good, healthy downtown is a good example of a vibrant community, and we've always, you know, tried to preach that.
Yeah.
And that's been one of the reasons that I think the community and the city has put so much into the revitalization of downtown, because it is a good economic indicator. And the same, you know, with Lower Town. It's right next door, and they have a very symbiotic relationship.
Is there any secrets or gossip about anything coming downtown that we don't know about?
Are you hinting towards maybe a new hotel? Is that what you were hinting toward?
That would
maybe?
be good. Yeah, that would be good.
Do you know something we don't know?
No, not yet. I don't, unfortunately. But I think that those requests for proposals are probably going to be ready through PRDA, which is a group that's handling
Right.
that many
Right.
people may have read about in the press before long. And of course, the demolition and all those contracts are in. As you know, the liquidation is
Right.
taking place now. So all that's right on schedule and should be taking place very soon. Everyone will be seeing that come to fruition, and I think there'll be a sigh of relief come through the community once it's all
Because
Yeah,
that's been,
I think
behind
so.
us.
something just goes on and on. But it's going to be weird, kind of not seeing it, you know, down there, because it's been there for almost forever.
It's been a part of this community. It's been, you know, my wedding reception was held there.
Oh, really?
You know, so I think so many people have sentimental attachments, but there are going to be so many positive things that are going to happen, and we just have to look at it from that point of view, I think, because it's really going to be a bright future. We have so many positive things on the horizon. It's really going to be a good page turner, if you will.
Are they looking for requests for like a high-rise hotel or a medium height, or what are they looking for?
I have not seen the RFP myself yet.
Yeah.
The commission has not seen what it looks like yet, but we will see it before it's sent out in the final draft. We will see it. But, you know, a lot of bids for conventions require a 300-room minimum. A lot do, as you're probably familiar with.
Yeah.
So my suspicion is that may be where they start, somewhere in that
Well,
neighborhood.
yeah, because we used to have a lot of conventions here. I mean, the E was a drawing card. As bad as it was a drawing card.
We had all those fishing tournaments, and you know, we had KLC and KCO and all those different.
Even the swimming tournament that you know.
Exactly.
Well, and then you had the hot rodders that came in.
Sure. So we have quite a market.
I just hope we can get them back.
We can.
Yeah.
I don't have a doubt about it. It's going to happen. So
Yeah.
we just need a good property there. We've got great convention space, and I know that we'll have a good team in place that will be able to sell it and make it happen. It's
Yeah.
going to take a little time.
Yeah.
It always takes time because, you know, these conventions book 2, 3, and 4 years out.
I
So
know.
it's going to
They
take
do.
some
I
time.
know. I mean, I can imagine what Opryland has been going through
Exactly.
with the people that were booked there, and then they got flooded out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, these were people that were planning on coming in like next week for a convention, and they got nowhere to go.
Right.
And I can just imagine what they've been going through.
Now, are they going to do some more things on the river? We've heard this talked for quite a while.
The riverfront development?
Yes.
Yes, yes. And again, that's all coming. Of course, we had that mussel problem, as you
Yeah.
all have read about,
Yeah.
you know, the orange dot, blue dot, belly,
Whatever.
whatever it was, mussel down there. But I think all that's been taken care of, and so before long, riverfront development should be on its way. We'll start to see more talk, more plans about that.
Well, a lot of that money's already been
It's been
it's in,
appropriated.
It's appropriated. Yeah. When it's
First
appropriated, like,
phase.
I'll ask a political question.
Sure.
Is the city able to get that money and draw interest on it, or do they have to wait? No. That would be good if they could get it and be drawing interest on it. It would help go along with the construction of it and everything. Yeah, but I was afraid they wouldn't let that out. That
Yeah,
easy.
there's a lot of hoops, and a lot of times the work's done, and then you submit the invoices, and then you get reimbursed.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of hoop to make sure that people use the money as it is to be.
I used to run a social service agency and get government grants, and so I'm familiar with submitting invoices and grant money and stuff like that too. So, yeah, I know how that runs. Any progress on city manager?
Yes, yes. I think the second round will be closed. Those resumes and things will be closed before long, and I would say the first week of October we will have it narrowed back down to some more finalists and probably have some people in to talk to. That's our hope.
City seems to be running all right without.
I will say that Mr. John Perkins has, who's serving as the interim city manager and is the finance director, has certainly stepped up to the plate. He has, you know, bared his share of the burden, so to speak, and he has done an excellent, excellent job. And the whole staff has really stepped up and pulled their weight, and we're very proud of the staff that we have.
I was interim pastor of First Baptist Church, Hollywood, Florida, for 2 years. And after the first year, we'd go in deacons meeting, and one of the deacons said, "Well, has the pulpit committee got anything to announce?" And they'd say no, and one of them, his favorite expression was, "Well, we're doing all right with the interim. We just hold on the way we are. Don't get in a hurry."
Well, there's a lot to be said for that. When you have
Yeah.
a good interim, not to get in a
Absolutely.
hurry and
Yeah,
make sure
you're
you make the
absolutely
right
right.
choice.
Yes, yes.
And
it's
and
so
I think we
important.
all feel very strongly about that. So,
Yeah.
and we know we've got a good interim, so we're not going to get in any hurry.
Yeah, well, that's good. I know we've got Lower Town, and we've got, do they call it, what do they call it, the
Fountain Avenue.
Fountain Avenue. Are they going to do anything on the other side of town?
Well, I think we're going to make sure that we have those up and going.
Yeah.
And, you know, some of them aren't moving as fast as I think originally we
Is
had
it
hoped.
the economy?
In part, yes. Yeah, I think everything has just been a little slower
Right.
because of the swift changes in the economy. Some things that have just not been as predictable as we would like for them to have been. So I think we're just going to hold up and see how some of those things change.
Well, I love
But-
Lower Town, you know, and I love the Fountain Avenue area. There's some beautiful homes in that Fountain Avenue.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
I mean, beautiful. Of course, today it's the question of going in and redoing them because of energy and the heating and cooling and everything. Just a lot of bucks to fix them up.
But but there are some great buys there and some great properties. There's some really good housing stock in those neighborhoods. And it's going to take time. But, you know, all development is cyclical.
Yes.
And you start off and then you kind of hit a little flat line. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
And you reach a point where you do some maintaining and then you'll kick back in, and all development is cyclical like that, and the city understands that, and we're just going through the phases.
Well, everything is cyclical.
Yeah.
I used to be a church growth consultant, and churches don't realize that church growth is cyclical also. And the problem with churches is too many of them, they're into a crisis that started 5 years ago and they didn't realize it had started. And I know cities and governments run into the same thing, that if they don't catch their cycle, and they don't know.
It's kind of like the economy now. You hear from the president, everything's getting better, but then you look and talk to the people, and it's not better for them.
But it will, you know, and we hope it will anyway, that everything will get better.
It will. It always has.
Yeah, and again,
Yeah.
it's cyclical, you know, and that's the thing. You just have to tighten your belt and go through the hard times.
That's right.
is basically what you have to do. Well, we're getting close to down, but let's kind of recap the things that we were talking about. Market Square mornings. They start September the 11th, run through October the 23rd, and they're from 9 o'clock in the morning until 1 in the afternoon. Now, I see things here, and it says a lively street fair, bustling with sights, signs, and smells, and healthy activities for the whole family that will enjoy. So, arts, crafts, go ahead.
And will this just be right around Market Square? Is that what they're talking about?
That's the way we understand it. That's when Mr. Spicer and Mr. Cochran, I had conversations with both, and we were given a map, and that's the way I understand it. Yes, it'll be just right around that Market Square area.
It will probably be very crowded, especially at first, you know.
Well, that's good. That's what you want for a street fair.
Yeah.
Sure,
You know,
sure.
you want
yeah.
people running
Yeah.
into each other. And then, of course, the biggie, barbecue on the river. And I look forward to that. I've judged that thing for the last 3 years, I think. And that's a lot of fun. You know, and everybody knows there's good barbecue, there's better barbecue, and there's excellent barbecue. I won't talk about the Lord.
It's all good barbecue here
Yeah,
in Western
right,
Kentucky
right.
is the way we think about it.
You know, it is.
It
because
is.
When we were in South Florida, and we lived down there for 20-something years, barbecue was barbecue sauce poured on. Tell them
That's
about your
right.
trip to Poland.
Yes, I just got back from Poland this summer. I told you I was
Yes,
going.
yes.
And I went out one night and ordered ribs, and you know, expecting American ribs.
Right.
Well, actually, what I got was boiled ribs served with sauerkraut, which I don't even like sauerkraut. So it was, well, that's their custom.
Right.
That's the way they serve ribs. And I'm not saying that they don't have ribs somewhere else that have the sauce and things, but this restaurant, that's what it was. So you just, you know, you just get used to things. It wasn't, as I was telling them, we were talking about it a while ago, it wasn't one of those foods that you have to make yourself eat it. You know, it wasn't, it was just different.
Just different. Different than what we're used to.
Right.
Well, there's a lot of stuff going on, and we're excited about it, and I know you are, and we're excited about what I see in the future for Paducah.
Me too. Me too.
You know, when we started to come back, we've been back 16 years now, I guess.
In
November, we started looking for places to go, and this is where we ended up, which was her home, but we're glad that we're here. Well, Carol, it's been good having you with us today. We'll have you back again to catch up on what's going. It's been good having you with us out there in the audience today. We encourage you to watch our show every week. Remember, you can find us on the web at thefabulous50s.net. The thefabulous50s.net, you can find us there, and we want to encourage you to be back and watch our show every week. And remember now, use it or lose it.
Can't see as well as I used to. Can't run as far or as fast. Sometimes I think that the old me is becoming exactly that. But when I start thinking of all I don't have, that's when I tell poor me Beethoven was 50 and deaf as a post when he wrote his Ninth Symphony. And he'd say, go with what you got. Start from where you are. Give it your best shot.